Who says independence has to come with bloodshed? Latvia just sang its way to freedom. No tanks, no guns, just strong vocal cords were enough to make the Soviet Union lose its nerve. But that's not all. They also have a prison that feels like a nightmare Airbnb, the shortest waterfall in the world, and so few men that importing them might be a legitimate option. Hit subscribe now to uncover the quirkiest facts about this tiny Baltic nation, spanning 64,589 kilometers and home to just 1.8 million people. 1. Latvia gained independence through music. In many places, people fight for independence with guns and war, but Latvia, they just sang their way to freedom. Yes, Latvia broke free from the Soviet Union through the singing revolution, a movement where the only weapon was vocal cords. It all started in the 1980s, when Latvians used Dziesmu un Deju Svētki, the country's biggest singing and folk dance festival, as a way to express national pride. Hundreds of thousands gathered, belting out songs that had once been banned, turning the festival into a massive musical protest. The peak of this movement came on August 23, 1989, when 2 million people from Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania joined hands to form the Baltic Way, a 675 kilometers human chain stretching across all three Baltic capitals. No weapons, no violence, just a really long line of determined people and an epic soundtrack. The world was stunned, the Soviet Union was caught off guard, and just 2 years later, in 1991, Latvia officially regained its independence. Today, Dziesmu un Deju Svētki continues to be held every 5 years in Riga, lasting one full week, featuring over 40,000 performers, including choir singers, folk dancers, and musicians from across the country. The festival is so massive that it takes over the colossal Measure Park's open-air stage, with a seating capacity of over 70,000 people. It's no surprise that UNESCO has recognized Dziesmu un Deju Svētki as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. After all, a festival powerful enough to reshape history is no ordinary event. If you want to see a country where singing is a matter of national survival, head to Latvia. And remember, staying silent is not an option. 2. Karosta prison, paid to be locked up. Have you ever thought about voluntarily going to prison without committing a crime? If your answer is never, then Karosta prison in Latvia might just make you reconsider. This former Soviet military prison requires guests to sign a waiver before being imprisoned, confirming that they voluntarily agree to endure harsh treatment and won't sue if they get yelled at, mistreated, or encounter something strange. The moment you step inside, don't expect a welcome drink and a refreshing towel. Instead, you'll be greeted with a thunderous shout from the guards, whose job is to make you as uncomfortable as possible, all in the name of an authentic experience. Forget about comfy beds and warm blankets. Your sleeping arrangements might be a freezing metal bunk or the cold, unforgiving concrete floor. And that's not all. With its long and tragic history, you might not be alone in your cell, even if the guest list says otherwise. Unexplained footsteps, doors creaking open on their own, or the eerie feeling of being watched from a dark corner, all come free of charge as part of the experience. And the price for a night of iron discipline, just £15–20, quite a bargain compared to a regular hotel. So what do you think? Could a trip to Latvia actually help you save money on accommodation? 3. Men are a rare commodity. If you're a man, welcome to Latvia, where simply breathing already makes you valuable. With women making up 54% of the population, while men account for only 46%, this country turns its male citizens into a rare resource, more valuable than a brand new PlayStation on release day. Meanwhile, Latvian women, stunning, educated, hardworking, and talented, find themselves facing tough competition just to find a husband. Why? Well, for starters, men in Latvia don't last very long. The average male life expectancy is just 69 years, while women live up to 79 years, largely due to alcohol, smoking, and a live fast, die young lifestyle. On top of that, many Latvian men have migrated to Western Europe for better job opportunities, leaving behind a population of beautiful single women in an increasingly competitive dating scene. Then, out of nowhere, a wild rumor appeared. The Latvian government has passed a law allowing men to marry 10 wives. Within minutes, men from all over the world eagerly started searching for ways to immigrate to Latvia, daydreaming about a royal life surrounded by a harem of blonde, blue-eyed beauties. But sorry to burst your bubble, this is completely fake news. Latvia follows European marriage laws, meaning polygamy is strictly illegal. So while Latvian men may be as rare as diamonds, they can only shine for one lucky woman at a time. As for Latvian women, perhaps they'll have to start exporting love to a country with a more favourable male-to-female ratio. 4. Want a Latvian wife? Open your wallet first. Sorry, gentlemen, no harems for you. But yes, Latvian women really do struggle to find husbands. If you're thinking of moving to this land of beautiful singles, you have a few options. You can get a residence permit by investing at least $50,000 in a Latvian business, plus a state fee of $10,000, or by buying real estate worth at least $250,000 and holding it for 5 years. Want to become a full citizen? That's tougher. You'll need to live in Latvia for at least 5 years with a permanent residence permit, pass a test on Latvian history, and, brace yourself, learn Latvian, a language so tricky it makes spelling supercalifragilisticexpialidocious look easy. And just when you think you've got it all figured out, surprise! Even your name might not be safe. Latvia has strict language rules, so if you're John, be ready to become Johns, whether you like it or not. So before you book that one-way ticket, ask yourself, are you ready for love, paperwork, and a possible name change? 5. The small country with big contributions. If you think Latvia is just a small, peaceful country by the Baltic Sea, think again, because this nation has shaped the world in some unexpectedly fascinating ways. First, if it weren't for Jacob W. Doherty Davis, a tailor born in Riga, you might still be wearing flimsy fabric trousers instead of the durable denim jeans we all love today. This Latvian innovator invented riveted jeans in 1871, making them a timeless fashion staple. But that's not all. Without Latvia, your Christmas might not be as festive. The first ever decorated Christmas tree in recorded history appeared in Riga in 1510, turning the tradition of decorating evergreens into a global holiday essential. And finally, if you've noticed that Latvian models frequently grace the runways, the reason is simple. They're tall. Latvians rank among the tallest people in the world, with an average height of 119 cms for men and 169 cms for women, making it easy for them to strut their stuff on international fashion stages. Some say it's the genetics, others say it's the rye bread, but one thing's for sure, Latvia is the only place where you might need a stepladder just to make eye contact. 6. Ventas Rumba. Wide waterfall, flying fish. Have you ever heard of the mighty Niagara Falls or the roaring Victoria Falls? Ventas Rumba in Latvia is just as impressive, but in a very Latvian way. With a width of 249 meters, it holds the title of the widest waterfall in Europe. But don't get too excited just yet, because its height is a mere 2 meters, which is only about 10 centimeters taller than the average Latvian man. But what makes Ventas Rumba legendary isn't its height, it's the flying fish. Every spring, countless fish defy gravity, launching themselves into the air in a desperate attempt to leap over the waterfall, creating a one-of-a-kind natural long jump competition. The locals? They don't even need fishing rods. They just stand on the riverbank and wait for fish to land in their baskets, a fishing method easier than ordering takeout. Ventas Rumba may not be the most powerful waterfall, but it's definitely the most entertaining. 7. Riga, most beautiful when looking up. Riga might not be the first name that pops up on your European travel list, but if you skip it, you might seriously regret it. The largest city in the Baltics is a perfect blend of history, art, and unexpected quirks. First of all, if you love beautiful architecture, Riga is an Art Nouveau paradise, boasting over 800 buildings in this style, the most in the world. Walking through the city, you'll constantly find yourself looking up to admire bizarre sculptures, mysterious stone masks, and swirling decorations straight out of a fairy tale. But don't get too distracted by the architecture and forget about the food. Riga Central Market isn't just one of the biggest markets in Europe, it also has a cool backstory. It's housed in enormous hangars that were once used to store Zeppelin airships. Here, you can sample everything from pickled herring and Latvian rye bread to dishes that make first-timers cringe while the locals nod in approval. And if you love a good story, don't miss Riga's most famous cat statue. Legend has it that a Latvian merchant was furious after being denied entry into the Merchant Guild, so he placed a statue of a cat on his rooftop, with its rear end pointed directly at the guild's headquarters as revenge. After a lengthy legal battle, he finally got accepted. But the cat remains there to this day, standing proud with its tail raised high. 8. Silence is their national identity. If you visit Latvia and find the streets as quiet as a giant library, don't worry, you haven't wandered into a land of monks. Latvians simply don't like talking too much. Here, silence doesn't mean rudeness or unfriendliness. It's just part of the culture. Latvians believe that if you have nothing important to say, it's better to say nothing at all. They're not into small talk or casual chit-chat like, "Nice weather today, huh?" If you ask for directions, they'll give you a short, precise answer, no unnecessary fluff. Some even joke that if you try to start a conversation with a random Latvian on a bus, they might panic and run away. But this doesn't mean they're cold. Latvians just need time to warm up. Once you earn their trust, they make loyal, honest, and dependable friends. So if you visit Latvia and feel the atmosphere is a bit silent, don't worry. Embrace the peace, and if you want to befriend a Latvian, try staying quiet with them. Latvia may be small, but its stories are anything but. From singing for independence and flying fish to Europe's most terrifying tourist prison, this country is truly one of a kind. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with the world's quirkiest stories. And remember, if you're planning a trip to Latvia, better warm up those vocal cords because staying silent is not an option.